We are back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Official test start time 2 minutes. I want to thank you guys for joining me. Very quickly, open up your Baja apps. Let's hit the ground running today, and we'll continue with the theory for today. Yesterday, we had an issue with power, and of course, I have a business to attend to. So I am on location at that proof of concept. It's a brick and mortar location, so I had to divide my time as best as possible. So let's see, Coinbase. Okay, actually, did we go over this? 43 billion. That's the 4.5. Let's just go over it so that we're up to date, right? And then we'll continue. Coinbase slumps 14% on earnings miss. Shares of crypto trading platform Coinbase Global Incorporated slid more than 14% on Friday after the company's second quarter revenue missed analysis expectations. We may have done this. The firm's revenue came in at 1.5 billion, below the 1.6 billion expected, and retail trading volume locked in at 43 billion, less than the 48.05 billion estimated by markets and down 32% year on year. Coinbase posted adjusted profits of 33.2 million or 0.12 cents per share during the 3 months that ended on June 30th, compared with 294.4 million or 110 apiece, 1.10 a year earlier. Coinbase stock plunged 14.78% to $321.92 at time of recording. Coinbase Global Incorporated stands in the red 16.70% at 314. So I can confirm that we did go over this yesterday. Let's go Google News. Android still number one, not bad. Stocks rise. Okay. Please log on to androidauthority.com and thank you for sponsoring today's episode by Tushar Mehta. Apple has sold 3 billion iPhones, but Android is still king of the world. For more Android devices were sold in the same period as Apple sold 1 billion iPhones. The iPhone is more than a mere smartphone. While we at Android Authority focus mainly on Android, it's in the name. Many of the contributors and staff members enjoy using iPhones alongside other Android devices. Various iPhone models consistently led sales charts thanks to a mix of uniqueness and the associated social image, and their popularity has allowed Apple to hit a significant milestone. At its earnings call yesterday, Apple confirmed it has already shipped more than 3 billion iPhones to date. In its earnings for the second quarter of 2025, Apple announced it posted 94 billion in revenue, which marks a roughly 10% year-on-year increase compared to Q2 of 2024. This is the highest quarterly revenue increase since 2021. Mac and iPhone contributed to double-digit growth figures, despite Apple's sluggish approach to rolling out the Apple Intelligence features. In terms of actual figures, the iPhone led others by a long margin, contributing roughly 44 billion, while the Mac's contribution was around 9 billion. Additionally, Apple services, including its iCloud, Music app, and the App Store, contributed to a massive 27 billion. The iPad, on the other hand, saw a decline of close to 8% in sales revenue. At the same time, home devices such as the HomePod and accessories such as Apple Watch witnessed about 9% reduction in sales revenue compared to the same quarter of the last year. Apple's growth with the iPhone also highlights that the time it takes to sell the latest billion devices has shortened. It's clocked its first billionth sale of the iPhone in 2016. So from 2016, based on a 2007 launch, it's about 9 years, 1 billion phones. From 2016 to 2025, 2 billion. So everything is doubling, but really it's tripling. That means it took almost 9 years since Steve Jobs unveiled the first iPhone. However, it had reached the 2 billion mark by 2021, in a mere 5 years since the previous checkpoint. The announcement about the third set of billion units comes in an even shorter duration, substantiating the increasing demand. Apple's recent push for a translucent interface on iOS 2.6 and Mac OS 2.6 has compelled many people to contemplate whether Apple may replace iPhones with augmented reality or extended reality headsets. But whether that deters people from reaching the 4 billion milestone is for us to watch over the next few years. So, what is your bet or your gamble? Are you saying 5 to 9 years? Are you saying 3 to 5 years? Are you saying 2 years to 36 months? I'm going to go with 36 months. That's my prediction or my estimate. Despite Apple's staggering sales figures, the number still dwarfs when compared to the sales of Android devices. While there aren't reliable figures on the total number of Android phones sold, Google announced back in 2022 that more than 2 billion Android phones were actively in use at the time. In terms of software distribution, Android still occupies around three-fourths of the market of mobile devices, as per StatCounter, confirming it is still the true market leader when it comes to volume. Now, not only was that an amazing module, open up your Wikipedia just in case we need to do any type of research, right? And grab yourselves a cup of coffee. Official test start time 2 minutes, okay? So you guys had a nice introduction so we could get the ball rolling. Hope you guys like my Miami Cuban link chain. This is the actual mode for the chain. Yeah. All right. So allow me to reintroduce myself. Again, when I built this program, when I wrote this code, not only did it take a substantial amount of time, it literally has taken a lifetime to perfect it. Because there were many concepts that I liked about technology that I had no type of educational training or background. I just had ideas. I had to teach myself, right? Now, I realized how power certain elements were of the program that I wrote. Now, within itself, right, within the confines, I was able to keep up with the markets every single day. Not in the sense beyond me being a day trader, but being able to apply it to business every day, right? So when we talk about the iPhone, we're talking about multiple things. We're talking about the iCloud market, the digital market, which ties into digital currency, Web3, blockchain technology, even if it's being used in its most basic form. Also, hardware, software, because they're running what, iOS 2.6 on both Mac and on the iPhones. When you look at the volume, you're talking about 3 billion consumers that, in a sense, compose somewhere north of 57% of these devices, these type of devices. Yet it is eclipsed by Android by a factor of three. I estimate 3.9. So we're able to look back at the patterns of growth, right? Was it 10 years? Was it longer? Was it shorter? Because from 2016 to 2021, it was a 5 year run. Why is that important for us? Because it's a delivery system for my NFTs. Why? Because I can sign a contractual agreement with every single manufacturer, and I have the authority to apply my NFTs to this delivery system. Do I want to spend $1 billion buying a million iPhones, etc.? Absolutely not. But it is an opportunity for us to capitalize both hardware and software. As a matter of fact, there are plenty counterparts that are just as powerful. For example, in the maker movement, my iPhone 15 is better than the iPhone 16 that we are expecting, obviously, an upgrade within a year. What does that mean for our investment? Well, it lets us know that the market that we are aiming for is very healthy, whether it's on the Android side or on the iOS 2.6 side, whether it's software through iCloud or services similar to that, or let's say different apps from the different available app stores or markets, as well as having the computational power that we need for it to have on Web3, the blockchain, and what is basically a public ledger system. Now, once again, yesterday we gave an example, putting everything into context, right? If I say I'm an artist, I'm a rapper, I'm a singer, automatically they're going to put me in a box. He's dark skinned, he's Hispanic, he does music in more than one genre. What they're going to try to do is format and put you in a box. If I go with the let me lease the catalog route, they will still put you in a box because now not only is the sheer volume of the catalog going to become a factor in play, right? But negotiating how that is distributed, comparing it to other hits after hits after hits. On top of that, there is a cost related to the clearances for these records, which are also World Guinness records. On the blockchain, we don't need Guinness, but we're using it as an example to describe the message we're trying to convey. So we have a delivery system. We can go rogue, and we know that we're nuclear capable. What does that mean? That means we could release our products and services outside of corporate America, internationally, where the laws are to our favor, only as a proof of concept, even though we are an American based company. We understand and we realize that our breakthroughs may not be in the United States. Our markets may not be in the United States because, to be honest, the United States is very far behind everything that's going on with technology. For example, social shopping is only available in the United States in applications such as Whatnot. And developing a digital arm is still something that's going to take time. When you have companies like PayPal already accepting cryptocurrencies, it only opens up new doors of how that can be implemented all the way across the board because they're still reliant on the MetaMask platform. So, once again, it places us in a position of privilege and power. We have to stay focused. We know that we have a delivery system, and it's not just an Apple based product, it can actually be an Android based product. It doesn't just have to be Huawei and Samsung and Apple and uh, Xiaomi or LG or Motorola or any of those other competitors. There are new companies that are entering the market. There are new competitors. There are new challengers. And sadly, because America is behind on innovation, our potential is overseas. Why is that important? Because we understand that everything that we're doing is geared internationally. And then it trickles back down to the United States. The United States is the market that I'm willing to negotiate. If I came to an agreement with any venture capital firm, that would be one of my first offers because I'm just not interested in this market. Why? Because future technology is only going to thrive in places where the future is prevalent, and this is not the market and has not been for a very long time. I'm a power user, so I would know. At the same time, we need to understand this going into all negotiations because many investors may not feel comfortable with the fact that our potential is international. But you have to understand that there are markets that are untapped. There are all new markets overseas, people that consume not only music but entertainment as a whole. So one way or another, if there's only, you know, supposedly 8, 9, 10 billion people, 30% are already engaging with technology with these brands that we're mentioning. We're not looking at the spectrum all across the board with other brands, products, or services, other industries or trades. This is important that we keep a hold of this threshold and this understanding because the average person that's trying to come in has no idea what they're doing. They don't understand. Why is that important? Because if we are aiming to get the attention of a BlackRock and a Blackstone, we have to come with the best of the best everything. Best opportunity, best products, best services, best hardware, best software, um, best ideas for marketing, distribution, publicity, promotion, etc., logistics. Remember that we're dealing with digital assets. Remember that just in the United States, now we have all these new regulations. So lawyers are busy right now figuring out how we can be compliant. And one of the most important, critical, and essential parts to this investment is that we clear those things. So, for example, Ms. Crystal Delgado is not only my entertainment lawyer, she has a law group comprised of over a dozen lawyers that handle all types of similar situation or similar investments or situations, I should say. So, once again, this puts us in a position of privilege and power because we have all the leverage. Again, when I gave the example with Mauricio Ruiz, you notice how we already moved on. You notice how we had to take that opportunity to explain that to the public so that potential investors would and could understand. You cannot blame a person for not knowing something, right? So long as that person makes the effort to understand. So I realized that as forward thinking as some of these people are or can be, they're also human and they are susceptible to be influenced by other people that are closest to them but still don't understand where this technology is going. This is the world where Bitcoin is over $115,000. Bitcoin was worth pennies just yesterday for me. I have a younger son that was not even born yet when I was already working on this technology. My son is on the way to college. Is it a full generation style development? No, it was sooner. So, you know what the prediction is? It's going to happen again, but it's going to happen much faster. I don't believe it's going to be 9 to 10 years, even though a lot of investment firms, that's what they're thinking about. I also do not believe it's going to be between 4 and 5 years. At best, I want to say it's 18 to 36 months. Now that sets the bar pretty high because that means corporate America is trying to come in within 24 months. So when I mentioned yesterday that we need to close a deal within the next, 4 to 12 weeks, really and truly, I'm saying 5 to 6 weeks to give ourselves a buffer to pivot in any other direction that the market may shift. Remember that the fourth quarter is coming. Remember that all the heaviest promotion and marketing is about to take place. All new products and services are about to hit the market, and we have to decipher where we fit into that market. Are we able to close a deal where we can hit the home run even faster? Why? Because let's just say after the auction, we're going to have every major hardware software company wanting to partner with us, right? Makes sense for marketing, distribution, publicity, right? But are we able to capitalize that on this first deal? Is that an incentive that we can offer? Look at the example that I gave with the United States market. I'm not interested in this market. This is no longer my market. I believe that there's so much potential internationally that, in a sense, is a waste of time. As an artist, I'm headed to Canada, I'm headed to Colombia, I'm headed to Australia. That's just as an artist. It's not like I'm saying I'm headed to this state or this region. It's like by comparison and no excuse because it's almost the end of the summer. The technology is just behind. People just don't understand. And unless you take the time to educate yourself, you're a dead fish in the water. And obviously, this investment is not for you. Again, emphasizing the fact that I do not want these types of investments, right? Or these types of investors involved. So it is important to put everything into perspective because at the end of the day, we're here to do business, and all we want to do is earn the opportunity to earn your business. So, how can we dial this back? We have 8,000 songs in the catalog, we have all the intellectual property, we have all the verticals, all the horizontals, we have all the parallels to this industry of trade, but we also have the technology. And in the technology division, there are military applications, there are civilian applications. Obviously, military application is not our focus. Our focus is medical applications for civilian use. Even though it's similar technology, it's pretty much the same technology. The application is different and it opens up a broader market because these are not components that are designed or engineered for combat purposes. These are medical breakthroughs using similar technology, obviously not the same, but that opens up another vertical and another horizontal. Remember that investors on day one, they're going to want the full spectrum and they're going to want to be invested in the full spectrum. Now, we as all businesses are allowed to make a profit. So the question becomes how much of a profit should that be? Because if I offer as an investment a 24% return, that is more than double, not only the average, but more than double of what a premium investment would be. Another thing that we focus on is ownership. We don't want to dilute the company through shares and stock offerings and things of that nature. So we want to simplify it. Why? Because if we take it to any other realm, people have the opportunity to include ignorance. And that's why it is important. That is why it is essential. So, to give you an example, if we put it in any other context, we're going to be confined to that context. If we say we are in technology, then that changes the dynamic of everything because now people have to understand that we're speaking a different language. So, bringing a person like a Mauricio Ruiz is bringing him and his team into our technology of the future. It's not us going to the music industry. We're not interested in the music industry. We're going to remain in the music business, but we're also going to remain heavily invested in technology because this is what we do. Now, once you put it into that perspective, it's a very clear and easy choice. The person can decide to invest or not. If it's not the right investor, we're not interested. Hosting the auction opens the door. Having a vertical to be able to negotiate the American market, that's a blue chip on the table. That's a new ace on the table. Then being able to negotiate the release through hardware software, which is going to be a digital platform. And we have our own. Now we know that we can make ours better because we have other business partners that probably cannot close those deals. They probably cannot reach those agreements. But if we're bringing in a big company like a Huawei or LG or Samsung or Motorola, just to name a few, or Apple, that opens up a lot of doors. Then on the DSP side, not only do we have entities such as Alphabet and Google and Steve Stout and United Masters, we also have iTunes and the iCloud and everything that is Apple. That ecosystem is worth exploring. And just because we are raising capital for the auction does not mean or does not mean that we cannot explore those other avenues. So we have everything that we need and we are fully prepared. There are very minor things that we need to take care of as far as legalities. Those will be finished by next month because not this upcoming Monday, but the following Monday, I'm already going to be preparing what I need on the legality side so that instead of paying for a consultation that could be 40 or 50,000, we'll go get incorporated with 40 or 50,000 and then take the company IPO, which that's another avenue that we want to explore, but we don't want to be ignorant. We do want to consider a strategic partnership and we reserve the right to keep everything open to every single opportunity at every single step of the way, just like we should be able to. It's kind of like by comparison, think about of a sports team. We're not the sports agency. We own the team. We own the league. We own the stadium. We own everything, right? Notice how every season, every team is able to negotiate independently from every other team, even though they're part of a league. And every player is able to negotiate personally. So it puts everything into perspective. So to give you an example, these are the things that we bring to the table. So Pajami, which is one of our business partners, he has a real estate portfolio. He's over a billion, just like Manny Cashman. He also has other businesses, master classes, consulting, coaching, things that he does. Now, what is the price to be able to have a sit down with Pajami if we're offering him, let's say, preferred stock in the company as far as the investment? This is a person that would understand. Of course, he can be a shark and, he's going to want something ridiculous. But how many more people are there out there like him? And just like Mauricio Ruiz or M. Rodriguez, Pajami is a person that is liquid and has access to the capital. Also, Arlen Hamilton just did a partnership with School and its founder, and they already quoted us how much it would be for the consultations. The only limitation is that it's in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm unable to travel there at the time. So I'm not on the West Coast anymore. But I still have to fly out internationally, right? So These are just examples of all of these people working in the same direction. Um, the gentleman that I reached out to towards the beginning of the year, he also gave me a quote, and it was basically like pennies on the dollar. So we already know we have access to these people, but it's about being able to present the pitch deck and get them to sign on board. Because if our long term goal is to approach BlackRock and Blackstone, these are non negotiable things that we're going to need to be successful. And that changes everything because I can hire all of the execs that I need if I can put them on payroll, if I can supplement their income. And if that's part of the investment, then that's part of the investment because now it expands it from just hosting the auction. Why do we just say the auction? Because people's mentality is basically that small. If you don't say we're a technology company and we're hosting this event and we have these laterals and these horizontals to negotiate, such as the American market, hardware, software, do we go direct to consumer? We're not even tapping into video games, even though we're designing our own system and our own titles and games. Understanding that every one of those songs, every one of those intellectual property units has the potential to be its own universe. Also, look at the artwork for every NFT. I try my best to make sure that we mint NFTs every few days. Obviously, it's the weekend, everything is going to be moving at a different pace, and therefore I have to attend to other responsibilities. But this is just to give you an example. So, putting that into perspective, just a few days ago, it may have seemed like everything was about Mauricio Ruiz and M. Rodriguez and Miss Laurie and Ray Daniels and all the other wonderful people. Look at today, we didn't just talk about Tidal or Jay Z or Louis Vuitton Hermes. We didn't just talk about United Masters. We spoke about Alphabet, not just Google, even though it's the same people. We're speaking about Miss Arlen Hamilton, and we know behind her is who? Mark Cuban, who's a person way bigger than Amani Kashman or Pajami or even somebody like Floyd. These are the same people that we put into a category and context of a Patrick Bet David with Valuetainment and everything else he has going on. These are all the sharks swimming in the water with us. They're all moving in the same direction, not at the same time. It's not the same focus. But this investment brings everybody together. And again, time is not on our side. The competition is getting fierce. I can schedule more meetings with more venture capital firms, but I have to make sure that what I'm presenting is top of the line because we are so prepared that the average firm is not going to be able to handle the feeling of being overwhelmed by all of the data points. But why is it important? Because if I go back here in the last few weeks, you're going to see opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Today, we're talking about Coinbase. Coinbase is its own thing. It's not Kraken, it's not Robinhood, it's not M1 Finance. Just to give you an example, PayPal accepting all digital payments. That's going to open up many, many doors, many, many markets. Who's able to capitalize? We've had the concepts. They invested the money. They did the research. They did the development, right? Now, how do we bring it together? Look at the DSPs. Look at everything that I'm going through with BandLab. We're in litigation. BandLab owes me a lot of money. And I have the best lawyers in the world. So it's only a matter of time before we settle. But I have to trust that Crystal Delgado can deliver on that. that the Delgado Law Group can deliver on that promise, because now I'm going to put this to the test. Don't think I'm going to bring Mauricio Ruiz without stress testing him. This is only the beginning. Also, his judgment, understanding that a lot of the people around him don't understand. But I cannot afford not only Mauricio or M. Rodriguez, I cannot afford these people the luxury of trying to figure this out. I have millions of dollars invested in this technology. I have grandchildren that depend on me, churches and charities. I have a huge family. My business partners have a huge family. So the pressure is completely different. The priority has completely changed. While we have been developing the intellectual property, which is the true value of the catalog. So we mean business. Now, of course, there's more money available than good ideas, but all money is not good money. Whoever will be involved with this project has to be the correct fit, because what we're aiming for is far and beyond anything that these people can imagine. I would have to say Apple. I would have to say Lyft Uber. I would have to say ChatGPT with OpenAI. This is the magnitude of this type of investment. Why? Because now we control the narrative. All these other clones, we're going to take them out of business because they don't have what we have, which is the catalog. They don't own the technology that we own, which is part of the investment portfolio. So when you look at like a subscription based service, right? The only way that you could do that is by being able to build your very own platforms to be able to do that. Now that is strategic. Do we do that with Huawei? Do we do it with Apple? Do we do that with Samsung? Do we go to LG? Do we go back to Nokia or Motorola? These are just prime examples. Look at the video game market. Who has challenged PlayStation or Xbox? Nobody has, and been able to be successful. When is it time to implement that? We have 8,000 songs in this catalog that can be funneled through every project, every release. And we already have the most important component because our gaming system is completely different. Now, it all stems from this original auction. We are a technology company. This is beyond music, this is beyond entertainment. This is future technology. If you go on LinkedIn, look for Future Tech Plus. It'll give you an idea. Whether you like it or not, it's all there. Everything that you're able to see today is the culmination of all these years of hard work, all these years of cherry picking the correct people to be part of this investment. You could be one of those people. All I can do is provide the template, the forum, the format for you to consider. I was really upset by the fact that people tried to make it something that it was not. We're not here for a handout. We're not here for a freebie. We're not here to cut corners. We're here to do business. And we don't want to be arrogant. We're not here to belittle anyone. We're not here to disrespect anyone, etc. But we do know exactly who we are. We know what we're worth. We know the value that we're bringing to the table. And that is the most important thing. So today is one of those victories. Today is one of those moments of reflection because every single day, as part of this investment, we're going to be able to showcase and prove every concept that we have. using real time, real world data. So, once again, I'm not surprised PayPal would eventually join uh, this type of payment processing because why wouldn't they? You're not betting on the digital asset or the digital token or even the NFT in this example. You're betting on the network. Once you understand that, everything makes perfect sense. It's up to you to decide what you're going to do with that. These people can use um, Rippler and Chat GPT and all that stuff. All that stuff is good, but it's nothing like getting things from the source where everything is raw and everything is pure and everything is concrete and concise and cohesive and streamlined. And this is why I made the investment to donate and dedicate the time that it would need to build the perfect company because that's what we're doing. We are building the company of the future. It's not just the car of the future, it's not just the video game system of the future, it's not just wearable technology, it's everything. Everything goes back to the marketing and the positioning of the auction. If you make it about anything else, people will find their insecurities in order to justify their ignorance, their lack of education and training, their lack of understanding, or the absence of the willingness to try to learn and understand. This is not rocket science, but we mean business. So it is important to have these things in place. So I am forced to go on tour so that I can keep all of these execs happy. Why? Because during that moment, the ongoing negotiations will continue until some type of agreement is reached. Now, do we want to wait until the next fiscal quarterly year to pay taxes and all these things? We're not doing that anymore. We did that last year. That was about 3 months, and in 12 days, it will be 4 months. So the clock started on the 14th of April. We're on the 2nd of August. On the 14th, it will be exactly 4 months. So 16 weeks, little over 120 days. August is upon us. September, time frame for all the legalities. October, we have a deadline. How many events can be hosted? How many concerts can we do? How much merchandise can we sell? How can we diversify? How can we secure multiple venues and multiple events? We have our own venues and our own events, but now we want to also connect with the local domains. We don't want to leave any money on the table. We need every investment, every opportunity, every product, every service that we can capitalize on. If Apple sold 3 billion iPhones, their goal is to sell the next 12 billion. It is not to sell the next billion iPhones. So this gives you an example of different things that you could do. It puts everything into perspective. Where does a M. Rodriguez fit into this equation? Where does Laurie fit into this equation? Ray Daniels, Mauricio Ruiz, just as an example. Let's use them as an example. Because if people are going to have um, the willpower to try to, I guess, taint the situation, then we're going to use the same power to reflect that. So let's put the pressure back on because it was by choice that we decided to go this route and reach out to Mauricio Ruiz. We don't have to do that. That was a choice. That was an added layer of bonus. That was a additional opportunity just to show what we're able to do and how we're able to acquire the talent by making one phone call, by sending one email, one text message. My first offer is always my best offer. Warner Brothers turned away $400 million. That increased to 989 million. They lost 5.5 billion that we understand and we know about. We don't know what was bigger than the collateral damage, directly or indirectly. And this is as of more than a year ago. Now, is that figure based on, let's say, what they were able to write off on their taxes? We don't know. I would have to have my lawyer look into that. It has to be public knowledge. They are, publicly traded company. So this is just to kind of give you an example and put everything into a perspective, right? As it should be, you know? So again, the reason why we have to revert to this is because you have to make it very clear to everyone in this field because we are a minority, because we are of Hispanic descent, and we are less than 1.6, 1.7%. We have a 98 plus percentage point chance to be successful and to fight even amongst each other, which it shouldn't be that way, but it's just the reality. People in high positions of power don't feel comfortable writing a check for people like us, at least in the United States, where racism is at an all time high. But internationally, the tides turn and the tides shift, and everything is completely different. I had to learn through trial and error to try new things. And right now, that opportunity has presented itself in the form of this tour. I offered this tour to many people, many companies, many executives. And I did not understand the concept of them having um, sacred cows, sacred things that they would protect, right? So we were able to move forward by looking at things for what they truly are. Not how I want to see them, not how you want to see them. Let's just look at the data points. Let's look at the facts. So if they're telling you their market cap, their revenue based on volume, based on all of these innovations, how can our portfolio be implemented into those things? Because you just let me know that there's over 7 billion power users. The average person is starting to become a power user, whether passive or not, whether directly or indirectly, whether it's hardware or it's software. Whatever they have access to is what they're able to capitalize on. And that's why it's important. Capitalizing, capturing these moments, and diversifying the portfolio to move on to other things. I just saw a listing for 7 acres in Tennessee for $50,000. How much can I get for 50 million? That's my thinking. And if I'm getting the acre for less than 10,000, How much would it be if I got $50 million worth? I don't want to pay more than 2 or 3 thousand per acre. 2,000 would be crazy, but I would buy the whole property. Being incorporated in Nevada because of the tax benefits. But now, because everything that's digital is more prevalent in the state of Florida, now Florida becomes a contender. So, guess what kind of research I have to do, and what kind of research you're going to have to do if you're a part of this company? We have to know what all of these laws are because the future of our company depends on it. The better we are well versed on this, the better the understanding, the better I can point, click, and shoot. I can direct Crystal Delgado and the Delgado Law Group to handle that. Listen, I need you to handle this, but specifically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, E. And I need it done by this time frame. And this is the budget. And guess what? The deeper you go into preparing an investment like this, the more expensive it gets. But we have to be targeted. We have to be specific. We're a United States based company. We have to pay taxes here first before we pay taxes internationally. But if we are going to do business internationally, we need to have dual citizenship and we need to have dual jurisdiction. Why? Because we don't just pay taxes and tariffs here in America. We're going to pay taxes and tariffs all over the world. And that is the cost of doing business. This is why all of these things are important to have in place. Why? Because an investor or an investment group will be interested in these things when making their consideration. Also, for the investment arm, it's not necessarily an age limit. It's more about how young they are in the mind and soul. Because you can have an old person that still has a young spirit. And this is that kind of investment. Do we want to present this to everybody? Absolutely not. Because the intellectual property is so case sensitive. This is why it's important for me to leave this here for everyone to fully understand. This is bigger than just one person or one company or one, you know, uh, directive. This is something that expands into so many things. And all I want to do is give everybody the best opportunity to do the best at what they love to do automatically, to where it doesn't feel like it's a job or it's a responsibility. That is the most important factor in all things. If Miss Delgado is the best at law, I don't want her to handle anything but the law. If Casey Graham is the best at publishing, I don't want him to do anything but publishing international and nationally. If Steve Stout is avid on platform building, I don't want him to do anything but that or a potential partnership. Let's bring in Google. Let's bring in Alphabet. Why not? We have the opportunity. It's not like most Android phones do not come with the technology built in, or is there a potential for us to create our own? Can we go directly to NVIDIA the same way that OpenAI did? We have nothing to lose by at least trying, but the mentality has to be there. I want a new Lamborghini, but the old one is better for me. Something simple like SVJ still has Nürburgring lap records, and it's a single clutch. Got to deal with it. Temerario looks amazing. I saw a purple one yesterday. I have a lot of those on order. Even the exotic car market has slowed down, so I have to step away from it. No feelings, just financial decisions based on data points, the day to day data. So, what's the value of a catalog that could be released in every corner of the world simultaneously and just rotated while we expand, acquire other catalogs, other artists, building other platforms for more people to get involved, and building a system for everybody to have sustainability? What can we do different? Can we actually build a fair system and be the alternative source? Can we be different? I believe so. Would it take $1 trillion to develop this technology? Absolutely not. We're not here to put a man on the moon. We're not interested in that. Video games makes more money right now than movies. Every song is going to become a video game. Yet these are all basic concepts and examples. This is why all of these things are important. It's not just my well being or my stability, it is the stability of all of my business partners. If a person cannot handle the pressure now, imagine when we have BlackRock calling us every quarterly statement that is released, going through every financial every few weeks, over and over and over again, demanding deadlines. Because in corporate America, it's the bottom line. The bottom line is the only concern. We do business a little bit different, but we overcompensate because we underpromise and overdeliver. So it's impossible for me to format everything at once for people to understand. If you do not understand this technology, you don't understand what I'm saying. And it's a waste of your time, a waste of my time. If you understand this technology, then you know the value of this portfolio. And when we're negotiating even a small investment in this portfolio, we're negotiating for the entire portfolio because the entire portfolio is one unit, it's one investment, it's one uh, uh, different type of focus. And that's just the reality. There is nothing more to be said, there's nothing more to talk about. We are already at the point of we need to get all the legalities out of the way so that we can find that investor that we need. Will it be Arlen Hamilton or Mark Cuban? We don't know. Could it be Steve Stout? Maybe. Is there a way to forge a partnership? We have uh, Apple Music as an example. Could it be Manny Cashman? We don't know that. Are we limiting ourselves to that? Absolutely not. Now, there are people that I don't want to present this to, and there are many strategic reasons for that. Once again, these are to give you an example. Why is this important? Why do we need to check the markets every day? Why do we need to keep up with business and technology and everything that's a digital asset? Because that is our business. If we're talking about just music, then, oh, you know, we're just dreamers. If I just said I'm going on tour and there was no foundation or basis for where this money is going to go, it wouldn't make sense. But if I say this tour hires 4 new execs and this tour hires 6 new execs and this tour expands promotion, marketing, publicity, and distribution in this market, in this example, you see the growth natural. the more people that are involved that can contribute. Just like, you know, in the meetings that we had yesterday. Now it's not just one meeting a day. It used to be one meeting a week, one meeting a month. No, now it's 5, 6, 7 meetings a day. Because if we're not having meetings as a company, we're having meetings with the venture capital firms. Now I cannot afford to have these conversations back to back to back to back. It's great for marketing, but it doesn't mean that it's pushing the goal forward. And all we want to do is gain traction. We don't want to lose time. Time is money. Want you guys to take a few seconds. Let's finish our coffee just to process that. And I want you guys to write your papers on that. 5 pages, 5 paragraphs each, 5 sentences each paragraph, 5 words minimum per sentence, 5 computer spaces in between, 5 revisions. That means 25 pages. Show the work. You can use your hyper scientific, you can use artificial intelligence, whether it's Sarah, Siri, Alexa, ChatGPT, Copilot, DeepSeek R1, or any combination thereof, but you must show the work. If you do not show the work, I'm going to assume you only use technology. You will not get any credit for it. And this is for everybody in the company. This is for all of our students and our colleagues and our business partners and our family and our friends. What can you do to contribute to this portfolio? Because my focus is on how can I help you? How can I make this investment viable for your future? How can I help you build the vision for you to see where this company is going? Because we do have a spiritual compass, because we are here for God's people. This is why it's important. There's a line of NFTs that we're going to give to St. Jude, to the Shriners, and to the Baby Seals. These are just 3 examples. There's so many other companies and corporations that we are directly able to say, you know what? Here's a nice gift, expecting nothing in return. We don't even need to publicize it because that's not our style. But it doesn't lower the priority of being able to do that. It doesn't take away from how important that is. I made a promise to God, I intend to keep it. This is why this is so important to me. This is why I can't just say it's a music thing or it's an entertainment thing or it's a hardware software thing. No, it's technology. It's a new avenue. It's a new world all by itself. First time, never been done before. We are the next Walt Disney and the next fucking Star Wars franchise and you name it, just to give you multiple examples. Street Fighter 2 Turbo and Street Fighter as a whole, that entire series and legacy, we're talking something from the 90s. 2025 still prevalent. That's a good investment. We are going to be the Berkshire Hathaway of digital arts. That's who we are. We understand the technology. We embrace the technology. We want nothing but the best. The best products, the best services, the best markets, whether they're established, in development, or new ones. And our lateral growth is in the new ones. We are the pioneers. We see the vision. We see the focus. We only want God's people, number one, and righteous people in our projects. And that also sets us apart because most people that are using a different approach, they're not thinking about it that way. And rightfully so. They have every right to stay in their lane and do things their way. We are from the future. Time traveler confirmed. Year 9998. There's no other way that I can explain this to you. The Cyclops. This is just a prototype. Most of you have already seen it in action. And we're not talking military application, we're talking medical application. We're talking people that need the attributes that is being incorporated into this augmented reality headset. This is just one of many wearable technologies that we have. So imagine me presenting this investment as just music or entertainment when we are in so many other laterals, horizontals, parallels, x axis, y axis. We could still talk about real estate and merchandise and clothing and this, that, and the third, but it all stems from that technology. How can we make it easier? Because the consumer has to be encouraged, not discouraged. It can't be so complicated that they can't connect their digital wallets and be able to interchange, digital assets for digital assets. This is the new economy. And no matter what product or service we have, we're still digital marketers. It doesn't matter if we have the new Keurig, the new George Foreman grill, the new PlayStation, the new Xbox, the new iPhone, the new real estate, the new form of, watching a movie. This is why this is so important. You have to put it where people understand. I'm not just a rapper. I'm not just a singer. I'm not just an artist. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a visionary of the future. This portfolio I built by myself in the 80s. We're in 2025. I've been building this portfolio since the late 80s. That is most of my life, ladies and gentlemen. This is not new to me. This is only day one. Look how much we have already day one. So no, this is not about Mauricio Ruiz or M. Rodriguez or Laurie or Ray Daniels or all the other execs, including the 5 execs that we have in India, which I apologize because I do not know the names off the top of my head, but I promise you, in the next 12 months, I'm going to know everybody's name in the company in alphabetical order. I'm so busy doing everything else that I have to do because I own this company. This is my portfolio, my investment. I'm the artist. I'm the venture capital firm. I'm the angel investor. I'm day one. My own money. Don't owe anybody anything. All the digital assets are mine. I am the bank. That's another vertical that we're going to explore. I am the bank. I sign off on everything by executive decision, executive order. There is none higher. I am that I am. Let those that have ears hear me. Let those that have eyes see me. Let those that have a spirit, a mind, body, and a soul understand where I'm coming from. Because this is just not for everybody. We don't want to have the wrong people involved in this project. This took 30 plus years to put together. And we're just getting started. We're not even focused on EBITDA. The exit strategy, the EBITDA strategy, y'all not ready for that. Trillions. What do we want? Preferred stocks and bonds. That's it. We only accept Bitcoin. Markets up, markets down, markets stale, market stagnant, doesn't matter. Everything is on Bitcoin, everything is on Ethereum. Both one and the same, both work together. Look at the rise of Tron. We've been Tron compatible since day one. I have modules on Tron. I have university masterclasses on Tron. How many years have I been saying, yo, Tron, Tron, yo, Tron, yo, Tron? What's the first company to file, the closest thing to a full IPO? Tron. Again, this is just to give you an example. These are one of many, many, many things. So, how can we approach this any different? I have a disdain for all the negativity that you find in entertainment and in music because the people that haven't figured it out, the people that don't understand, are the people spewing this negativity. You have to take it out of their hands and out of their realm and out of their perspective and out of their understanding. This is an opportunity to grow. For the people that want to grow, to have the opportunity to grow. For the people that don't, well, God bless them. We wish them the best. We don't even need to ask people to get out of the way. We are just going to continue moving forward. And you can trace back to the first article of Future Tech Plus, to the first NFT that was created, which I thank my youngest brother for inspiring me to even join BandLab. I'm the biggest artist that they have with the biggest catalog. I have to have everything privatized to protect my catalog. Just imagine how many months it's going to take to go through the entire catalog. That's already an investment in and within itself. That's already requiring of a budget to fully master engineer everything, like get it Hollywood ready, get it like EA Sports ready, Capcom ready, Konami ready to be released. And guess what? We have connections with Konami. They are an excellent video game designer. Can we outsource them to build the games, or do we build our own platforms? The more, the merrier. Now we finally accepted proposals from Alphabet slash Google slash Steve Stout slash United Masters. People like Ray Daniels, I just found out it was Ray Daniels that signed NLE Chopper. These are just examples. With day to day data points, every single day we're pivoting, we're juking, we're adjusting, and we're showing you with real world data points. We know what Warner Brothers has lost. We know where Universal is investing. We know where Sony is. None of them have a favorable palette as far as public perception. We can change that. How about if we merge all three companies with ours and our technology? What if we lease or license the technology? There's so many opportunities, but only those that invest early, that understand, will even have access to those other investments because the portfolio is exclusive. This is an exclusive club. This is not for everybody. Now, the opportunity is available to everyone in the public, granted that they're accredited. But these are all opportunities. So, our business partners overseas, they don't have a manufacturing problem. They have the best manufacturing, but they do have a marketing problem. They do have a distribution problem. They do have a franchise problem. And that's everything that we're here to provide. Nothing more, nothing less. At the end of the day, it is what it is. So, once again, this is just to give you an example so that this doesn't happen again. I don't want anybody to think that this is about Mauricio Ruiz. We don't need Mauricio Ruiz. We want Mauricio Ruiz if he wants to be a part of this. That's like, you know, back in the days what we would call like, you know, that's good looking out. That's being considerate. That's being understanding. That's exactly what that is. That's like game recognizing game, you know, knowing that this person is contributing in so many different facets that we want to give this person the opportunity that they never had. We also will not allow people to like change the narrative and make it seem like we need this person or any person, or we need this opportunity or any opportunity. Everything that we're doing is by choice, to be independent with the pride of ownership, understanding that we control our own destiny. We are in full control. The investment capital is either going to come from the United States or internationally. And we're not going to limit it to just one market. It could be a combination of markets. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we're making the opportunity available for all that are interested. And the beauty of it is we can guarantee every investment and we really don't need the money. We need the network. We need the opportunity. We need the logistics. We need the manpower. We need these creative, beautiful minds that companies such as Meta are offering $2 million to start. That's a little over what? Few 100,000 per month, 185, 190,000 a month, 90, that's about what, 45,000 a week, 6,000 a day, 8 hour workday. What is that? $600 an hour, 10 to $100 a minute. Can you imagine making $100, $200 a second? This asset makes a few $1 million a second. I think we can happily afford to hire an onslaught to expand the company with all digital assets. We are the bank. We sign off on every investment, we secure every investment, and we have the right to reserve the ability and the opportunity to do it as we see it fit. Now, why is this important? Because as time progresses, the conversation changes. The less there is to talk about. We're already anticipating the workload once we secure financing. So the less information that will be available or readily available to the public or that the public will be privy to. So this is why as time progresses, it's not necessarily that the pressure is on, it's that the scale and the challenge of the goal increases. So now we're adjusting to that challenge on a daily basis. And based on all of these rules and parameters, all of these things that are important. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Is being able to build and establish those things. So now that that's clear and it's in perspective, this is all available for public consumption. I guarantee you, M. Rodriguez is watching this, and Laurie, and Ray Daniels, and Mauricio Ruiz, and Arlen Hamilton, and Mark Cuban, and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Sr., the entire family, Manny Cashman, even a Kevin Pathrath. Uh, who else we got? The people over at Google and Alphabet, and United Masters, and Steve Stout, and the Jay-Z's, the Casey Grahams, the Wendy Days, the Brandman Sean's, the No Labels Necessary, VaynerMedia, Valuetainment Consulting, the Patrick Bet Davids, the Gary Vaynerchuks. We are all here for a reason. The people from BandLab, and I could just keep going. The people from Coinbase, the people from PayPal, the people from Apple, Huawei, Nokia, Motorola, LG, Xiaomi. They're all watching. They're all waiting. The Nikes, the Under Armour, the Reeboks, the what's the other brand? The Adidas. They're all watching. The Gaps, the Banana Republics, the Tom Fords. They're all watching. Companies like Iowa, Sony, for hardware, software. They're watching. The medical companies that understand what Radarplex is, the automotive companies, the autonomous systems companies, the wearable technology companies, the augmented reality companies, the video game companies, they're all right here. waiting, patiently waiting. The Vanguards, the uh, Black Rocks, the Blackstones, the Hypnosis, the record labels, they're all here. Welcome. I'm here to bring everybody together. Intellectual property goes beyond signing a deal with Lego or EA Sports or Konami or Capcom or Acclaim. It doesn't matter. The opportunity is here. This is bigger than Lionsgate or fucking Paramount or Universal. All of the information is here. All of the technology is owned by us. All of the opportunities are part of this portfolio. You cannot just get a little piece, it's the whole thing. The whole 100% of the portfolio is what secures every investment with our own digital currencies, which are our NFTs, our intellectual properties that we can fit into a delivery system like this. Check out the latest NFTs. You know what I'm saying? Check out the latest NFTs. This is not for everybody. Let's go open the portfolio because we are also doing catalog management. Hold on. Let me adjust this a little bit or as much as I can for the lighting. This is the portfolio right here, ladies and gentlemen. These are the digital assets. 8 billion people on Earth. We keep going. You want to go faster? We go faster. How fast you want us to go? See that? See how they all load? See them loading? We keep going. Are you not entertained? Look how the lady from the church and the charities and the foundations, Miss Saidi, that's one of the execs of the company. Is it by coincidence that she will be sending a message right now? I have a business to attend to in the next few minutes. This is all the time that we have for today. I feel in my heart I have conveyed everything that I wanted to convey to you guys. Please have an amazing day today. May you conquer everything in your path. May everything that you touch turn into solid gold bars and silver bars and beautiful and precious stones such as moissanite and laboratory grown diamonds. Always remember to dream big because dreams come true. It happened to me. I know for a fact it's going to happen to you. We will link back up. We'll be on the podcast, the radio show. We'll do the Discord. And we are going to combine this for the new version of Future Tech Plus. So we'll be logging back on from the office and throughout the rest of the day. May you guys have an amazing day. Signing off. As always, 504 202 5915, cyraxplex@gmail.com. My name is Jonathan Marte Pena. I am the artist known as Vanamar1, and we're always here to do business 24/7. All negotiations run through Manek, 24-hour minimum. Shout out to Patrick David. Um, this is only $24 million to speak to me. Thank you very much. God bless. And we only accept Bitcoin. Payment in full before scheduling any time. If minimum threshold requirements are not met, we will not be accepting your phone call. God bless.